Welcome back to Jenna's Kitchen. Today, we are not in the kitchen. We are in Washington, D.C. In December of 2022, Kentucky Farm Bureau sponsored an outstanding youth competition, and I got to compete and I won the female division. When you win, you get an all-expense-paid trip to D.C. on their congressional tour, where you meet with the senators and get to talk about farm policy with other like-minded people. And Farm Bureau is amazing at being the voice of agriculture for Kentucky, and we are so thankful to have them in our state. But I thought about when I went to DC my freshman year of high school and all of the food I tried then. And so this is Eating Our Way Through DC Part 2. Let's get to it. First thing that we did when we landed in DC was find food, and we found a whole line of food trucks, and I wanted to try some DC food trucks. So we went to one that had a bunch of different options. It had burgers, chicken tenders, chicken sandwiches, and also these shawarmas, which I have never had a shawarma. I had to Google what it was, but it's basically a wrap that's in fluffier bread instead of a tortilla with feta cheese and all kinds of amazing flavors inside of it, and that was one of the most amazing things I've ever had from a food truck. So the first place that we went was Proper 21. It was a short walk from our hotel, and we were starving that night, so we wanted something really close. I got the buffalo chicken flatbread, and it was a buffalo explosion on my pizza. It was really good. I enjoyed the blue cheese mixed with the buffalo and the chicken. That part really helped marry it together with a little bit of ranch drizzle on top. That was delicious. And Mom got a smash burger with cherry pepper jam on it. Who comes up with cherry pepper jam? That sounds delicious. And she said that it was amazing. And then for dessert, we got this churro waffle that we're still trying to figure out how they made it. But it's a churro waffle with ice cream and caramel on top. It was so crispy, and the ice cream just melted into it. It was amazing. The next day, we went to the National Cathedral, and we went to Chef Jeff's, which was really close to the National Cathedral, but I was in charge of navigation, and I didn't realize that I had put drive time instead of walk time. So we went on the scenic route, but it was still fun. But at Chef Jeff's, I got a Baja burrito that had eggs and chorizo and peppers with a little pico dip, and that was scrumptious. It was the perfect brunch type thing. And then Mom got a chicken sandwich. It was just chicken and lettuce and tomatoes with a really flavorful sauce. And then we also got these little ricotta donuts with the most amazing raspberry sauce I've ever had in my entire life. That raspberry sauce made those donuts because they were dense ricotta donuts. That's what you would expect. But when you dip it in that raspberry sauce, perfection. That night we went to Old Ebbitt's Grill, which was in my first video, but we got invited by some of our friends to go eat with them that night. Got a catfish sandwich with remoulade sauce on it and coleslaw, and it was like home on a sandwich. It was like the most Kentucky thing you can get in DC. And Mom got trout parmesan with green beans, but I was so full for my sandwich that I didn't get to taste hers, but she said that it was really good. Monday for lunch, we went back to Far East Taco Grill. If you remember my first video, you remember me raving about Far East Taco Grill. We were so hungry that day last time we were in DC, we had to go back and make sure that it was verified that that was amazing. And guess what, guys? It was. We went back and got kimchi fries and bibimbap and these little wonton kimchi dumplings, and the dumplings reminded me of this kimchi bindatok, which is a kimchi pancake that my grandma makes in a fried shell with this sweet sauce. It just married all together and it was scrumptious. And then our kimchi fries were just as good as the first time, if not better. They had melty cheese, kimchi, some creamy sauce, and fries. And then the bibimbap, we expected the sauce to be really, really hot, but it just kind of was like a nice kick to the heat of the already spicy pork, because that's what we got this time. And it was full of rice and pork and guacamole, which I did not expect guacamole on bibimbap, but oddly enough, it worked. It was so good. Far East Taco is still one of my DC favorites. On Monday night, Farm Bureau took me and Matthew, the Outstanding Youth Male winner, out to dinner that night, and we went to District Chop House, which had the most amazing cuts of meat. We could cut our steaks with a butter knife, and we also got these shredded Brussels sprouts with some apples mixed in, and they were really good. Mom was a little bit skeptical because they were shredded Brussels sprouts and we're not used to those, but they were amazing. The next day, on Tuesday, we had our congressional breakfast, so we ate with Kentucky Farm Bureau and got to meet with our representatives and hear them talk about agriculture policies. That afternoon, we went to Asian 9 because we wanted to continue with the Asian theme. I'm still in a little Asian kick, and so I found this little place called Asian 9. I got yellow curry with potatoes and onions and carrots and tomatoes and chicken all mixed in this coconut milk yellow curry sauce that just was on top of rice. Curry is served on top of rice, and that helped cut the richness of the sauce and just helped it go down a lot easier, and it felt like a nice little warm hug in a bowl. Mom got kung mu dang, and it was like really thinly sliced pork on top of rice with cucumbers and this sauce that looked like it was going to be the most fiery sauce we've ever seen in our entire lives, but it was so flavorful. The sauce did not overpower it at all. It was almost a little bit sweet, but the pork was definitely the star of the show. Our second to last stop in DC was this Mediterranean place called Roti. It reminds me of a Mediterranean Qdoba, but you go in and you get to build your bowl of Mediterranean. They have their own specials, and then they also have your builder bowls. And we had this really nice guy. He was like, all right, these are the favorites, and this is what I like. This is what most people like. And so he built up our bowls, and this was the best Mediterranean food I've ever had. And we also got these little triangles of baklava, which I had never had, but they were so sweet and so sticky, and the baklava made our Mediterranean experience that much better. Last stop this morning was Astro's Donuts and Fried Chicken. We hadn't made it into a bakery yet to try some different things, so we went and got donuts. I got a cherry blossom donut, Mom got a maple bacon donut, and then we got an apple crisp donut. And the cherry blossom donut was so cute. It looks like it had a little cherry blossom tree painted in icing. I could never do that. My artist skills are not that great, but the people at Astro Donuts, they are on point with their marketing. The maple bacon donut was really good because it wasn't imitation bacon or imitation maple. It was the real deal, and you could tell because it was so flavorful. A huge thank you to Kentucky Farm Bureau for giving me this amazing opportunity, and thank you to you guys for watching DC Part 2. Stay tuned for Part 3. Who knows what that'll be? These are just some of my favorite places in DC. I know I haven't tried them all, and I cannot wait to. Don't forget to like this video, comment your favorite place in DC down below, subscribe to Jenna's Kitchen, and have a great day.